And if you were to take this trade, and then you wait, keep watching the pair, you don't like just go away or get mad because you lost the trade, you will still get paid for that. What's up traders, welcome back. Today we're going to do the weekly review. As always, I want you guys to be prepared on Monday morning as soon as the market open. So I think I'm going to do a bigger analysis this week because the one last week was a little bit short and it didn't go through all the pairs. I went through the main ones doing something interesting. But today we'll go through all the pairs and we'll do that simple and complete. And that's going to be pretty much it for the video, but I'll have some lessons of course throughout that video. So let's go first with AUD CAD. And this is a pair that's at its own at the moment. We've talked about this last week. We've talked about this a couple of times. It's reaching the 0187 area. It's been there for a few weeks right now. Bearish, like a few weeks down, but not doing much so far. We want to see some bullish evidence there. And we can look at this on lower time frame as well. Okay, so we have no trade set up so far. LDJPY is also at a support area. So the 82 level, and we've been there in the past few times. We've been bouncing also a few times in the past. Look at these nice wicks on the weekly chart when price came back to the low of the zone. So now price didn't do any setup on either time frame, and we need to wait for price to show us a nice setup, in my opinion, with the Bollinger Band. Okay, that's what I'm looking for. And if you guys are still wondering what I trade, I'll put a video below. Once again, as always, same thing as I repeat every week. But if you want to see what I trade, the rules I have, the tools I use, it's all gonna be there. I hate to repeat myself, but we want to make this easy for you guys. So link below, of course. AUD is been at this zone also for some time now. It pushed back up the past week. We had this big engulfing candle here at the Bollinger Band, breaking outside the band. Perfect setup, except that it's been above the middle band, which means I usually don't take trades when it goes beyond the middle band because of the fact that we're gonna have less room for profit. And we've talked about this many times. If you're gonna trade on this, and let's say you're going to buy and put your stop loss, your entry here, stop loss below the low. And now look how far we are. We've been doing quite a big move and we're only at not even 2 to 1, okay? And so that means that we have more trouble getting some profit with that. We can have good trades, of course, but in general, the profits are going to be harder to get. We are going to have less room for profit. Hence why I found them to be less profitable, and that's why I don't trade them. Now you could, if you really wanted to make it happen, enter but place a stop loss at some place in the middle of the candlestick. I've seen people do that, but to me it doesn't sound too reasonable. AUD is also the zone. See how these pairs, like the 4 we talked about, all the pairs beginning by AUD that we talked about, they're all at major zones. Okay, so this one, it's a little bit different. So 0.75, and it's been making some nice wicks in the past. Okay, wicks to the downside, which means that we have some buyers in the market for sure for making wicks like this. And that's interesting to see because we've been down for a few weeks. Now I'm looking for evidence of this with my setup on the 4-hour chart and the 1-hour chart, which we didn't have before. And that's going to be to look for on this pair. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward. CAD CHF, it's between 2 zones, and that's why I have no really edge to trade this over here. I'm waiting for price to get to the 0.79 area, or maybe get back to the lower 0.74. Another cool area that we need to watch. Euro AUD. This pair is a little bit messy, so I'm looking at this chart. I'm not exactly sure what I want to do here. So the plan was either you look for a bearish trade, so a sell signal at the top over here, 1.60 pretty much. Okay, that's the range, or that's the area. And the other possibility was to look for a kind of bounce trade of this area over here at 1.57. This, of course, as you see, didn't happen. Okay, what happened is that price went down and broke the support area we had on the daily chart. So now we need to wait for the next zone because this won't be a good place to trade, probably. Okay. What other people could do is that they could look at this and they could say, well, price is broken down, and what we can do is we can wait for a retracement to the zone and then trading on that retracement, okay, afterwards. So trading something like this over here with the same technique with the Bollinger Band. That would work well. I personally won't trade that because it's not my style, but if you want to trade that, then that could be an option for sure. But for now, what we have to do is we have to wait for a next zone on the weekly chart. And that's going to mean probably back over here, 1.51. Alright, and that's going to be the zone to look for. A place we've been also reversing in the past. and I'll be looking for that closely as we come back to the zone. So we're gonna unflag that pair. AOD CAD now is coming back to a really cool support area where we've been in the past. 1.50 round numbers, that's even better. And I'm looking for bullish trades on this. Look how strong this was here on the forward chart. Quite of a big move down. We had a trade earlier on this pair. So now we look for the opposite basically, because we took the trade at this zone here, 1.55. Now we look for bullish setup at 1.50, kind of as a reversal area. Now we also had a setup over here, but this one, like the other one I showed you guys on AOD CAD, I believe, is also breaking outside the middle band. So that's a setup I wouldn't take personally. And now we need to wait for more setup on this pair. Okay, but cool zone, and I'll flag this one for the week. Euro GBP is between two zones, it seems. Although we were thinking about this resistance area here at 0.89, 0.90 or something. And that's a pretty cool zone to look at. Now, price didn't do much so far, except this setup over here with a poor reward to risk, as we talked about just earlier. And now we need to wait for more setup on this pair. Although I doubt, to be honest, I doubt this one is going to produce setups, just because of the way it moves. Like, it seems to be some small candlesticks and not too much of big moves. And I didn't trade that pair for a very long time. So we need to wait, of course, but I would doubt we're going to trade that pretty soon. But we'll keep it flag, it's at the zone, and it's going to be interesting to watch. Euro JPY is coming back to 128. We've talked about this also a few times. And basically, this is a support area where we might bounce once again as price pulls back down. So we will look for setup on the lower time frame. We had nothing so far, but that's going to be a great one to watch, of course. Euro USD is once again at the same stage it was before. We are between 1.17 and 1.14, a support area where we've been bouncing in the past. Keep in mind, like, even if this is coming back down, we still need to look for trades up to that level over here, because this is where the support area is, right? Keep in mind, we never talk about support price or support level, we talk about support areas, because price can reverse in some range. And that's why I have these boxes in the chart pretty much, because I look for these areas. And so we had a few trades that were break-even, a few trades that were losses, and nothing happened so far. So we need to wait for this pair, but I'll keep it flagged at the zone, and we've talked about this for a few weeks. GBP CAD is pulling back to a intermediate support area. We've been bouncing here the past few times. See, like, this is a small bounce, and it's not that strong compared to some other zones, but it's still pretty valid. Okay, so I will look for bullish evidence at this area, and it looks like price did nothing there so far. Just went straight down and no reversal sign, but I'll keep this one flagged for the week and look for trades. Perfect. GBP-CHF is also at a support area. We have a lot of pairs this week at support areas. That's pretty cool. So GBP-CHF coming back to 1.30 round number, pretty cool, and that's why the arrow is there. Looking for bullish signs on this. Looks like we had a trade over here, which I didn't take as it was too early for my time zone, but a losing trade. You could have taken that. That would have been a good trade in my opinion. Like, it's at the zone, and it's in the good direction. And that is why, as part of my journal, I keep track of the trades that are good and bad. Not only winning or losing, but I want to see if they're good or bad. This would have been good. A bad trade would have been different. A bad trade would have been a trade that doesn't respect the rule, or that's like not proper, and that if you take long term you will lose money. But this one was a really good trade. And if you were to take this trade and then you wait, keep watching the pair, you don't like just go away or get mad because you lost the trade, you will still get paid for that. Like, one of my big mistakes early on was to get off or go do something different and not watch the chart when I had the losing trades. And although this is good to kind of detach yourself from the market, it's really bad in terms of like missing setups. And if you miss trades that happen because you feel like you cannot trade or you're not on the ground and ready to go, then you have a problem. So it started to change for me when I started to sit there, even if I had a losing trade, accept the trade, accept everything that happened, and then move on to the next thing. What is the next thing I have to look for? How can I get back with a focus on the job? And that makes a whole of a difference. So you might want to implement that too in your trading, of course. GBP-JPY is doing some random stuff, we'll forget that one. GBP-NZD is doing the same. JPUSD is coming back to a support area at 131. We'll draw a box over here as well. That's a pretty cool area. And we look for, of course, a reversal trade of TAT. Nothing happened so far on the lower time frame. We had this small move over here, but it looks like we're getting a little bit more sideways compared to this big down move we had earlier, and that's a good thing. So we'll keep this one flagged for the week. NZD CAD is also nearly coming back to the support area at 0.87. We've talked about this a few times. I'll put a box actually to make it better. And now we would look for bullish trade on that pair, okay, as it comes back down. We have nothing so far, and we'll see how price behave at this zone. USD didn't do what we expected in the past 2 weeks. Basically, we expected price to maybe reverse at this zone and have a nice trade. We had nothing on the pair, and now it looks like price just went down. The next area we can look for is this over here at 1.29, and that's a cool area to look for bullish setup. We've been there in the past, reverse, came back down, push above, and we've been reversing here a few times. So that's awesome. We'll look for this. And it's kind of close. I might not trade like early in the week. It might take time to reach the area, but we definitely can look for something on this pair. And we'll just flag it over here. USDJPY, the trade we had didn't unfold completely so far. I'm still in the trade. And pretty much what we were looking for is a move to the upside of this area on the daily chart. And we can wait to see what happens on this. Okay, this looks pretty good on a daily chart, but on a weekly chart you could also look for trades of the opposite way. When price will get back to somewhere over here at 115, and it could be a good place to look for bearish setup on this pair. So I'll drag this down a little bit. That's better. That's gonna be a good place to look for bearish trade on this pair. But for now, this one is a good trade, and I'll wait to see what happened with this one. And USD SJD, finally, we had a setup here that didn't confirm to be a setup, but it looks like price is between two zones. So we wait either for price to reach 1.39 or 1.34, and that's going to be a better place to look for trades. So here we go, guys. We've done it for the weekly review. My battery on the camera is pretty low. I'll conclude it here for today. Comment below what you thought, and let me know what you think of those reviews, of course. There's a lot of people asking about how they can be notified of the live video I do. It's pretty simple. There's a subscribe button below this channel. Click it, click the bell next to it, and change the option to be notified of everything I'm publishing, and you will know exactly when the lives are coming up. And that's going to be much better for you, because if you don't want to be the guy who's going to be behind and liking everything and missing out on every video I put out, you want to be here to get the value, and I would really appreciate to do that, and you will make the most of it. So thanks for watching, I appreciate it, and I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Ciao.